everyone. Welcome back. This is Everyday Women's Business, and this is Secret Women's Business with Annie Gibbins. Now, before we get on to the show, just a reminder, if you're listening live on LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter, Renee will be waiting to take your comments and direct you to any of the links that we talk about in the show today. They will also be part of the show notes attached to wherever you're watching this show. A reminder that you can watch the catch-ups of all of these shows, and this is the 6th in the Secret Women's Business series. You will find them on YouTube, Binge Networks USA, Hero Go TV, the Tony TV channel app, and anywhere else you listen to your podcasts, you will hear these series. As an important part of each and every show, we do a welcome to country, and today is no different. So I want to respectfully acknowledge the people of the Yugambeh language region on the Gold Coast, Queensland, Australia, the traditional owners of the land on which we meet, and pay my respect to the elders past and present, and all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders listening and watching today. Now, we have been doing an amazing series with Annie Gibbins, who is the most beautiful, angelic woman on the planet. She is also very passionate and purpose-driven in seeing that women reach their absolute potential in life, both personally and professionally, be that in a professional role or in your own business, or even if you're just a mum of twins. So, Annie is a CEO, a global women's empowerment coach, a podcast host, a speaker, and a #1 best-selling author. And at the end of the show, we're going to tell you about Annie's latest book. Annie is the founder of the Women's Business Incubator, Life by Design, and Women Collaborating Globally. She has decades of experience as a female CEO in a male world, and she truly pushes the limits of what's possible for women today. Annie is positioned as one of Australia's leading voices for women in business, and I've no doubt that very shortly Annie will be known as the global voice for women in business. With 3 university degrees under her belt, she is also a go-to inspirational speaker in the global space. She is a keynote speaker at Lady America Power Conference, Barriers and Bias, the Status of Women in Leadership in 2021. She's also the host of Memoirs of Successful Women, the podcast where she has interviewed hundreds of inspirational women worldwide. Her portfolio of guests include business leaders, entrepreneurs, humanitarians, athletes, and creators of startups on a mission. Annie started her career as a registered nurse, and I can tell you, any ex-nurses will know that we are capable of doing anything. And Annie has gone on to show us just how to do it. So women from around the world are invited to access Annie's wisdom via all of this life experience that she's gathered together into some amazing programs for women. They live in her business incubator on her website, and her signature programs include the Women's Startup Incubator, the Women's Scale-Up Incubator, the Business Domination Incubator, and Life by Design. Annie likes the quote from Oprah Winfrey that says, "Think like a queen. A queen is not afraid to fail. Failure is another stepping stone to greatness." I am delighted to welcome back to the show Annie Gibbins. Hello, Annie.
Hello, Tony. It's so wonderful to be back here again. I've been enjoying our weekly chats, and I know it's been adding so much value to your listeners. So it's great to have them all involved today.
We have been talking about these amazing courses that you've created specifically for women. And of course, I need to point out that includes mums and young women and old women and all generations of women. There should be no barrier to getting the education you need to live the life that you want. So, Annie, I want to just briefly talk about your inspiration behind the Women's Incubator and where you started with these amazing courses.
I think the course is a result of my life lived, actually. I'm a mum who had 5 children, including 2 sets of twins. So I got, met my sweetheart at 17, engaged at 19, married at 20, and then had twins at 23 and 25. So 4 in 2 years. Navigated
Lot.
3 degrees around crazy busy life, had another bubby at 32, and then somehow navigated to becoming a CEO. But it was really hard. It was definitely the road less traveled. It was very male dominated. I wasn't supported by my fellow
Yeah.
woman as much as I wanted to be. And so I had to become very, very focused, very determined, and build up a lot of resilience and really do it on my own in a lot of ways. And while I'm not complaining, I've had an incredible life and career. Over the years, I thought, you know what, there must be a better way. Wouldn't it be great if we actually had, a tribe of women who are like me,
Yes.
women who want to juggle at that stage their life by design. I wanted to work and I wanted to go to university and I wanted to be a good mum. So that kind of idea germinated first. And then as I built my career, wouldn't it be great if there could be someone who shows me, the practical steps, not just
Yes.
theory, actually holds my hand, tells me what works and what doesn't work. And that led to the formation of then my startup incubator and scale up incubator and now business domination incubator. And then as you were saying, Tony, like a lot of those, even my short courses, they are for women at all different stages. I've got self-care, self-love, mindset, money mindset. I've got all these little ones because as I've gone through those little journeys and I've had to break through those issues myself, we all have them. We've all got blocks that suddenly, we realize. I look back and go, oh my gosh, wouldn't it have been great if I wasn't blocked in a certain area for like 5 years or 10 years because I wasn't brave enough to lean into an opportunity, or I felt other people would criticize me and I didn't want to feel that. Whatever my resistance was, I wanted to know that moving forward, I can actually create opportunities that women can actually get the slick stream, right? You don't have to go through.
Yes.
You'll still go through your own growth, and that's absolutely vital and necessary. But a lot of those issues don't have to be had if you actually have someone that you can just connect with, not only me, but a global tribe. As I build my network, you get even more and more advantage because you'll suddenly get a breadth of experience, right?
Definitely.
And it's just golden. So I think it's the dream. It's the dream of what I always wanted to have, thinking right back from when I was 16, 17, saying I wanted to be a businesswoman and getting flack of, oh, you can't be a businesswoman. You don't have the mind for that. You don't have the aptitude for that. You're not that type of person. And I'm thinking, what kind of person do I need to be? And, or you won't be a good mum. You want to be a mum type. And if you want to be a businesswoman, you won't be able to be a good mum. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that's terrible. And I wanted to be a lovely person. I did want to be a good mum. I did want to be helpful and contribute. And I actually took it as a blanket statement. What a shame I can't be that person. And I accepted that for probably a decade. So I did other things and I became a nurse, and that's all great. Good nurse, nothing wrong with nursing, but I always had that little thing in my head going, what a shame I can't
wanted to do.
I really wanted to do that. And so my journey was that stepping stone into, well, I'll try this and see how it goes. Oh, I had success. Okay, I'll do another bit and another bit. And so while that is necessary and we need to lean into those steps, there's also a massive exponential growth curve if you actually have people behind you saying, hey, this is the way, these are the top tips, let's just practice. So I have now practice nights and all these webinars that you can actually get yourself, get out all that anxiety and stress and practice things in a safe place and then just show up. It takes years off the journey. And it's just, and for women who are wanting to just progress quickly, and they're also wanting that income to come in, and that gives them the flexibility of the life that they want around whatever context that is and whatever stage they're at.
Yeah.
Just golden. So that's my joy. My joy is to go, oh my gosh, I helped you break through to whole new levels to reach your potential, but I also saved you a lot of pain and wasted money. It's just wonderful to see them go, oh my gosh, that's so such a joy. And then you can see the results.
Annie, if I divert quickly to the business tribe, so we're talking about support of women, and I'm not sure if women realize that there is support for them, and that was part of the ethos behind the women's business tribe, is to create that safe space where they can learn and fail together with other women and not be subjected to the greater world until they feel like they're ready. And
Exactly.
that they get to experience and have your knowledge and wisdom. So it's the things that you learned and the things that you had to learn the hard way. You want to stop them from having to go through those hard spaces and those hard things by having this tribe around them where they can go, hey guys, I've got a bit of this idea. I'm thinking I want to do A, B, or C. And it can be like a sounding board and a supportive environment for them to kick off that idea. And if I go back to the incubator, that's the side hustle. That's the idea and developing the idea that you might have in the back of your head. So it might be as simple as creating unique scents to sell at the market. It might be creating and selling, it might be sourcing and selling crystals, for instance. It doesn't have to be a monumental big thing to start with, does it? So that's where the startup incubator comes into play, doesn't it, Annie? It's for those
Absolutely.
women that have an idea that think, maybe I want to invent a new nappy. Maybe I want to invent a new way to dress babies, do a new sort of clothing. Like it could be anything, couldn't it?
It can be absolutely anything, and you don't even have to create it. You can actually then, you could become a broker of an online shop that you actually get things that are already sold at like Alibaba or something, and actually just create your own web store. You could do absolutely anything. You can buy startup businesses. You can buy patents for things. You can you know the sky's the limit, so
Yeah.
some people are passionate, and if you're doing something, you go, maybe I could turn my skill and expertise into a
And
business.
you can ask Annie and go, I'm really scared to talk about this with my family or even my husband, because sometimes hubbies don't get the creative things that
Exactly.
pop into women's brains. And so the Women's Business Tribe is that space where they can connect to you and go, Annie, I've got this idea. What do you think? And you can
Absolutely.
guide them in safety, and they don't have to say it out to the world. It's just this, you've created
Just
this
a safe
safe
place,
space
right?
for women to dream and starting up something that might change their lives.
Absolutely. And women can be in all different stages. So it's unlimited of what stage you're at and what you're doing. So, for example, everyone in my incubator programs or short courses then falls automatically into the Women's Business Tribe, because
Yeah.
that's where we host weekly seminars and workshops and power hours and things like that. You can also not be in those programs and just join
Join the
the Women's
tribe.
Business Tribe. And when you do that, you get a free trial for a month, and just come in and have a little look. So you can't fail. And then it's only $10 a week, which is an absolute bargain, because then you then
That's
get to tap
actually
into
almost less than a cup of coffee
it's seriously
in
crazy. And I want to
Australian
think about
prices.
any woman in the world can afford to be part of the tribe. What does that $10 a week give you? It actually then makes you part of a global network. You can post anything about your business, your ideas. It could be just family. It could just be you. You might be in looking into self-care or
Mm.
mindset. It might be something that you're struggling, even an idea. Do you think I'd be good enough for this? I get told I'm not. The great thing about the tribe is you suddenly find like-minded people. And that was one
And
of the
that's
breakthroughs
important,
for
isn't
me.
it?
I didn't realize that I was actually a bit of an outlier, right? So
Mm-hmm.
when I had all these ideas and got told I was crazy all the time because I was never satisfied and I was always thinking of other things, and this was apparently a bad trait. Well,
Yeah.
when I then suddenly found other business women, I'm like going, oh my gosh, they're all like me, right? They love creativity, they love ideas, they like planning things, they love strategy. And so it suddenly gives you this place that, oh my gosh, everyone in my little pond is a version. And what it encourages, though, it's the best version because it's diverse, it's multicultural, everyone is accepted, we all collaborate over competition, right? So we don't have any negative limiting views. We all just go, hey, you go, girl, you know, I'd love to learn you more, what's on your heart, and how can we all collectively help you to progress on that journey. So it's such a joy.
Absolutely. Annie, the other thing is that sometimes you can't see what's right in front of your face. And
Yes.
so sometimes, in the safety of the women's business tribe, you'll be able to explore things that other people might say, they might give you ideas that actually impact your creativity and help you further develop what that spark of an idea already was.
Exactly.
Because
I had that just the other night, Tony.
yes,
I had a coaching hour, and one of my clients had a whiteboard of these points that she wanted. And she's showing me her whiteboard. She goes, I just have a block. I don't know how to get my whiteboard content into my business. I can't see how it's working. And it's because she'd named herself the business that she was supposed to do these things. And I encouraged her to go, I want you to level up. I want you to think the business was, you know, the Wellbeing Institute or something like that. And
yes,
she was the educator. She's one arm because she could educate. You can also have an online shop from the
absolutely.
institute. You can do all these things. So even just showing her how a business works and a personal brand works, and that you actually get double dipping, then there's value in
Correct.
that. For example, if Annie Gibbins posts something, also the tribe can congratulate Annie. My incubator can also stacks on. The more variety you have, actually you get volume, right? You get online
Definitely.
presence, and so and positioning. And so for her, you should have heard her, Tony. She was like, oh my gosh, like all the light bulbs went on. And she's like, you've got no idea how long I've been struggling because it just didn't fit. And that's
And
exactly,
that's that
yeah,
external set of eyes that
yeah,
both you and the tribe can supply for women thinking
exactly.
about being in business.
And then we
This,
just went and recreated what she had, and then we posted it on the tribe. And then all of a
yes,
sudden, everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, that's
that's
so
amazing.
good! I love it! I love it! I love it!" And then you get that momentum, you get that excited energy, right?
Mhm.
And that's enough. Even when you've had a bad day,
Oh,
frustrating day,
yeah.
you go, "Oh my gosh, I want to show them the next evolution of
Yeah.
whatever it is."
And the other thing is, too, sometimes there'll be little things that you struggle with, like, is it this logo or is it this logo? Is it this color or is it that color? Because you won't always have certainty when you're starting up to
Mhm.
go, oh, I don't know if I like that. And so having the tribe there, you go, girls, I just don't know. I like this one, but I also like this one. My brand is ABC. What do you think? And having multiple voices to back up what you think. And then at the end of the day, it's
Instant
still your
survey. It's
decision.
poll, right? It's like, here's two, do you like A or B? I've done that with my book covers.
Yes,
I go on there and go,
yes,
here's a book cover, 1, 2, which one do you like? And then, obviously it's subjective. So you will get people going, oh, definitely number 1 or definitely number 2. And then you
but
put it
it
all
gives you
together and you
some
go,
perspective.
some of the gems behind their comments were really, really interesting to
Yeah.
me. And so at the end of the day, you still make your own decision, but it's so valuable, right? And so you can't go wrong. I mean, I just think having a live opportunity to poll and to ask and to practice things, and to even get video recorded on a pitch night and to get that given to you so you can watch
Definite.
it back. There's so much value that you can then just constantly feel like you're smashing those next goals, right? And even when you go, oh, that wasn't very good, but then you get to watch it, and then we go back to the first video and go, oh my gosh, look how far
Look how
I've
much you've
grown.
grown.
You know, I went out with one of the ladies the other day, and she's just going, oh my gosh, she's just been on the TV and in a national magazine. And she started in my program probably 18 months ago going, oh my gosh, can I just kind of practice how to share what I do? And so when you see that gain and then getting that presence dominating in her market, I mean, that's incredible, right?
It is. It is.
And it's all because of the safe place, the right guidance, the mentoring, the support, the tools. Obviously, everything's in the program.
And you've got templates and tools and workbooks and ebooks and videos.
Exactly.
So however you learn, and human adults learn in a variety of different ways, but you've got all that covered, Annie, in your courses, from the startup to scale up to domination. Those components are in each of those courses. So if you learn by watching videos, there's videos. If you learn by reading, there's ebooks. If you learn by doing, there's templates, worksheets, and then there's Annie's advice. You get to access that.
Exactly.
So that's invaluable for women that are looking to grow their business or develop their own life and live their best life. One of the things that I was wanting to talk about today was the recognition that you won't always be in startup phase. The transition from startup to scale up, and then the transition from scale up to domination. They are key moments within your business that you help your participants recognize and get ready for. Yeah?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So if you're a startup, you're going from possibly that idea to launch within 6 months, say. That's very achievable. And then you want to stay in that startup phase till you're at around about 100K comfortably. That, you know, because that's a reason to say, I can give up my day job somewhere in there. Once you pushed over that, whatever you were earning before, you want to have that confidence. So generally I'd say, don't quit your day job while you're doing your side hustle. It is really busy and it is really huge, but you'll have all the support to do that. And then you'll make the decision in there. And that also will then require another adjustment. But what the startup phase does is allows that we've dotted every single I. There's lots of points there that we do need to do well, such as, you know, registering your business, licensing, setting it up, websites, basic marketing material, working out the sales, how sales will occur, who your customer is, what your product to market fit is, and so forth. But then suddenly at around 100K, or, you know, anywhere between 80 and just over 100, people often stall. And it's because they're doing what they've done before, and it's they suddenly reach another block, or they start growing and they need to, and what they want to do is scale. You do grow a bit as you scale, but growth, for those who are unsure of the difference, growing just means you have to then operate a bigger thing. All right. Like an airline is a growth business, but it's actually got very low profit margins. And so you're actually just running a bigger machine. And so that might be good, but it might also not be as profitable. And so you want to make sure that with that means more time and responsibility for you, checking on different staff and different arms of your business. So you want to know, is that where I want to be positioned? Or to scale means you suddenly got to have more revenue coming in for your return, you know, better return on your investment, on your time. And so that's when you can get money while you sleep. You know, someone booked into one of my programs, you know, while I was in bed last night, you know, then that's right. You've got money. You might have sold a book. You might have a paid opportunity on a YouTube channel or something else. How do you actually grow that? You're not doing extra hours. You get these opportunities within your business that you then get to have more revenue coming in and without spending additional hours, because what we don't want to do is burn ourselves out.
Correct.
And so it's often easy to burn yourself in the early phases of a startup because it's just such a learning curve and you're juggling your day job, and we've got to be very careful there. And that's why I often slow people down and make them do the step by step. And then often people burn themselves out around that 100K because they're desperate to grow more and they're trying and they're trying and they're trying. So it's not the lack of effort, it's actually the way you do it. And so that's why it's really great. You actually need a different business model there. We go back and go, okay, what you've done has worked to date, but it's
now we need to change it a little.
Now we need to mix it up.
The next stage.
We need to reassess what are your opportunities. Can you get affiliate partners? Can you, what are your upsells? What are your side sells? Where are we working in funnels particularly? We start thinking funnels to a big time and go, okay, well, who have we got coming in? And we work a lot more on your product to market fit. So in what I mean by that is in the startup, you might be a bit more excited about any customer. You'll spend extra effort because that person's not kind of your main deal, but hey, they're happy to pay you for something. And so it's very easy to slide around a bit, and there's no judgment on that because we would all do it.
Because that's what everyone does.
Of course. But when you start going, okay, I want to scale, you have to then start getting pinpoint accuracy. In fact, and it's a deliberate choice whether you are narrow in one area and then narrow in a second area and narrow in a third area. So for example, I'll have a podcast, also have books, I'll have speaking, I have my incubators, I have my tribe. I've got about 5 or 6 different businesses arms going, but I also have to be confident that I have the framework that can give all of those the same quality of service, because that's the downfall. But when you slide off the radar, when you go left or right, it feels nice at the time, but then you don't give the same quality because it's not set up that way. And also your market, until you've got to a certain level, which is more domination of what I was explaining, then it can be confusing for your market. What do you do? And that's what we need to know. For a scale up, you've got to go, you're the business who coaches on this, provides this product, is the best web store for that, is going to help you give extra service, better quality, better whatever, or throws in freebies every time I go there, whatever it is, it means you've got a repeat customer. So you not only have a one-time customer, you have a return customer and hopefully a lifetime customer or a lifetime fan. And that is another area that you nurture. A lot of the time in the startup, you're thinking always of the new customer. I want more customers. You suddenly in scale up will learn to really value the customers you've had.
That is still
so much easier to scale up there, or they'll advertise for you, promote for you, and you're happy to reward them for that. There's other ways of really working your scale as well as getting new customers. So it's a science, but it's really exciting because you just change gears and you start seeing yourself in a different way with your business.
Definitely. And the last course in your series, so it goes startup, scale up, domination.
Dominate.
Now, dominate sounds like such an amazing space to be in business. How do women know when they're about to enter the dominate stage? What are some of the things that they're experiencing? What are some of the things that they're looking for? And in particular, I want to know where they are so that they can tap in to dominate in business, your course for the next level up.
I think it'll vary on the revenue and the size of the business based on the industry they're in and so factors. So I don't want to put a dollar term on it, but it's generally in the hundreds, thousands. What the difference is, they're ready to start thinking with a 7-figure mindset. And that's what I say. If I'm actually going, I want to be running my business with that millionaire, I've got $1 million revenue potential coming in here. I might have multi-millions for all I know. And even if I don't, even if I only have 100,000 or 200,000, I want to start to think like that person. And that's the princess, the queen idea of Oprah, right? I actually want to be, do I show up unapologetic? Am I 100% confident in myself, my business, and all of my infrastructure? Is my infrastructure all polished and automated so I can be as effective and efficient as possible? Do I have all the elements of my sales funnel, sales process, policies, procedure? Do I have everything done? You don't have to have had it, but that's what we work on, so that when you want to be the default solution, something problem in your niche. That's the whole goal of dominating. And
Mm-hmm.
so for someone like me, I'm a women's business coach. I would know that I'm ready to dominate if I go, I'll then suddenly go, well, why did that why did that person go to someone else? That really surprises me, because I feel
The
like
one.
I want to be the one, right?
Yes.
And so it doesn't mean that everyone has to go to you, but it has to be that your mindset says, well, why isn't my product the very best? Is it the cost? Is it the packaging? It's marketing? Am I understanding my demographic? My product to market fit must be so pinpoint that I assume that if I'm doing all my things right, I will be the one that the journalists ring if they're asking for a women's in business comment.
Yes.
I will be the one that they would call if they're asking on gender equity and equality, because Annie actually speaks at global conferences on that thing. Who is the person who's got a blog, who blogs on that topic every single week? Who is the person on Google who has so many testimonials and they're all glowing? Who is that brand presence? So it's a lot on personal branding with the product or company, but it means that you're showing up in a way that you've probably got, or you want to therefore work with me and we get a book. What's your book? What's your area of expertise? For example, I've got a book coming out in October, A Woman's Guide to Business Domination. That would make sense for Annie, who has a Dominate business course, who then speaks on business domination, right? So I have that. I have a podcast called Memoirs of Successful Women. And I interview women who therefore it's of my stature around the world, who are all carving it up in business and happy to share, so they align with my goal. So those sorts of things, you don't have to have all of those, but I coach people in the Dominate to go, all right, if you want to be, why would I think you're the person to go to? If I'm after a women's TV network, why is Tony Lontis the one, right? And so they almost have to then practice on their pitches. Well, tell me, why are you the one? And they're like, oh, because I'm like really good, or I'm the best. Okay. And then we go through all of the levels, because they don't have to go through the beginnings of their business. They're happy. They've already started at scale. They know how to do business. They just have to do it in an executive way that is more assess and monitor, read markets.
They really know
time they spend on different aspects.
Yeah.
Analytics,
they really know the analytics and the data around their business, around the services that they deliver and around the products that they sell. They really know that 1 in 4 people is going to buy this product. We can anticipate that sales will be X, Y, and Z. And the next component of that is when this product is nearing its end of life, we offer them this new product or whatever it is.
But you will learn to have those. Dominates go exactly that. If I've got four main programs, I've got a startup, scale up, dominate, and life by design. I know my percentages of who comes into what and why. I know the questions. I've already got questions and answers, the common questions that people ask. I know the answers to that because I have had those responses. I can almost feel them coming. And if you don't, you then start learning how to write those down so that every time you get that, you're more
You've got
protected.
another question
answered. Being an expert in business. In fact, that when I present, I'll often go, you might be sitting here thinking this, you might be thinking, how am I going to go from there to there? Because I know I've had that experience. And I know that all my coaching clients have that experience. So when you're at a stage that you go back to your market and go, oh my gosh, if you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed, going, oh my gosh, I've lost my sense of self. And you're at this stage of juggling kids going, will I ever get back on career? Will I ever reach my goals? Oh my gosh, you would be like my other clients who've done my Life by Design course, right? Because I know I can describe that person and they're sitting there going, yep, that's me. So it's not hard it's actually easier to sell when you know what you're selling. It's almost like robbing the opportunity for that person to then access your services, because you just know they're really great and that's what that person needs.
And this is going to help them. So from doing this for so long, that this course is that for that person, this course is for that person, this course is that person. Like that's the stage of Dominate, where you just know who's right for what course, or because
Oh, because I've even got it put out on a beautiful flow chart. So even when
Yes.
people come and meet me, I'll actually go through all of the requirements. I've got 8 modules in each of my programs. So you've got 24, checklist of 24. You can clearly go, are you here, 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 here?
Yeah.
At the end of the conversation, you're like, all right, I need to scale up. Or, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm ready to dominate. Or, yeah, I really do need to dot a few I's. I think I'll start in a startup. It actually is self, a revelation to yourself, because
Definitely.
there are actually requirements that it's like a competency sort of checklist. So it's not like I want to do, it's actually, well, actually this is going to solve your problems and be able to help you just smooth into that next phase.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's not too difficult to try and find out, because it's, yeah.
And the other thing too is, Annie, if they start with, if they're at Scale Up or Dominate, they also get access to the 2 previous courses. So if there's something that they've missed if they're doing the Dominate in Business course and there's some little element that they haven't quite worked out, they still have access to Start Up and Scale Up. So they can go back and go, oh, okay, I didn't actually do that the way that I probably did that better.
You want a marketing plan template and you're doing Dominate, you'll still go back to the startup and whip out the marketing plan, or the social media plan, or the channel partner plan, or the business plan. All of the startup things are always used throughout stages of your business. So they'll be always included. That's right. If you do the scale up, it also includes startup. If you do Dominate, includes scale up and startup, because you're on a journey. You don't want to go, I've missed one little bit and then now I'm stuck up here. That wouldn't make sense to me. You want to
But it's also very realistic, Annie, because there's you're not going to always get everything done in a certain phase. So there's always going to be things that are going to be perfect or close to perfect, and things that are not so perfect. You're always going to be working on something.
Exactly.
And that's okay.
Go against the theory, right? So here we talk business, science, and theory, but I've had other people who can have a multi-$100,000 and they go, I don't even have a business plan. I just do it. I see it. They read it. They don't have an incredible budget. They don't know what their monthly consistencies are. They've just gone on a winner and they've got this flair, and it could be for a season, could be for a time. And they could then go, oh, business plan. Oh, yeah, I probably should have done one of them. And then they'll go back and they'll laugh, right? Because they're going, well, it can hurt them. Now, that's an outlier. In business, I can go and say, you can do all these things. You can miss a whole lot of bits, but they generally come back to bite you at some stage. So it's just, even if you go, well, I don't have time and I don't do it, that's okay. You can launch on not much.
That's right.
As you go,
you should think
about
what these
you're going to
things.
fill in as you go, and that's the great thing, that sometimes if you miss something you just forget about it, and that's why you'll be sitting there at that
stuck
area to then go, oh well, I haven't formulated it, you haven't got a strategy, you've just gone and said thanks very much, I'll take your cash, and everyone else is jealous of me. You go, fair enough, but that time can go. Or you could also be going, oh my gosh, like it's raining money, but you could actually be raining more, because if you are in a bumper business, such as in COVID, if you had infection control products,
masks,
it happened to be, what a great time it was to be a biochemist or something, or a mask manufacturer, but they could have also therefore gone into massive sideways scale and then gone and created some more products and offered more to their market. But because they didn't have a business plan, they just went, oh my gosh, I've got to keep getting more of what I've got, whereas they could have actually gone and done a massive implement of more staff, and you could have had multi-millions. Do you know what I mean? So we never know what we're dealing. The great thing is it's not a competition amongst what everyone else is doing.
It should never be a competition, Annie. Like, it should never be a competition. You should never look at someone else and think, oh, I wish that I was them, or I wish I had this, because it's a unique and individual journey, this business of life and life of business. It's unique, so you should never compare yourself, and you should never think that people are doing things better than what you are, because everyone in business is going to be unique. And I guess that comes back again to the wonderfulness of the Women's Business Tribe, because you can have those conversations in safety and talk about, oh, I kind of think I might have missed this or that, or and have other people's thoughts in a safe way. They're not going to go, oh, you silly duffer, you can't possibly
Not
have
going
a
to
successful business doing that. Well, no, that's not going to happen, is it? It's just not going
do.
to happen.
And also, you can show up as you are. It gives you this
Mm.
freedom as a woman, I think, to actually go, well, how do you want to show up? If if you're the personal brand, if you want pink hair, green hair,
Yeah.
whatever size you are, just make it your own. Like, there's no judgment on that. It's actually about what you're wanting to achieve, who you're wanting to serve, what the reason is for your business. And we'll have different motivational drivers for ourselves. There's so many variables involved that
Yeah.
that's what's really great. That's what's really freeing, that you go, oh, when I don't have to worry about all of that. What you mean? I can just show up? What if I
Yeah,
have an
just
idea? I can
show up.
actually entertain it. I can, or even if it's a crazy idea, we'll all have a giggle with you, but at least you got it out, and sometimes
Definitely.
those left field ideas are actually the best.
Pretty good.
you
Pretty
know
good.
Sometimes they're a cracker, but it's a safe place. And so for me, I've always seen success around two areas. I've seen it around focus and your ability to fail fast as you
Yes.
go through this path.
Fail lots. Fail
Fail
lots
regularly
and
and fail
celebrate
fast.
it.
So you focus on what you're trying to do. So you just stay focused and you appreciate what other people are telling you, but you stay focused on what your business is and who you are. And that's a growth experience in itself massively. And the tribe helps you do that. The failing forward, failing fast, failing often is a really great model, because that's actually how we do learn and grow. And although we don't like those,
I know it's not great and it's not fun, but if you think about the big successful entrepreneurs of our planet, so take Sir Richard Branson, one
failed a
of
lot.
his favorite sayings is, I have failed so much and so often that I'm actually comfortable with failure. But look what he's created, Annie. And women need to understand that we are creative beings by nature. It is in our DNA to create things. We are good at business.
Yeah, we sure are. We are excellent at
We are
business.
created that way. So, again, for the women listening, there's opportunities like never before. Wouldn't you say, Annie, that we're in a really specially empowered time for women of all
Oh,
ages?
exactly. Now is the time. I think for women who have had the rug pulled out under them over COVID, we've
Yeah,
had the biggest amount of women losing their
their
jobs
jobs.
globally because they've been part-time, because they've been casual, because they've been lower paid. And that's got a whole other area that I'm working on for gender equity and equality and
Yes,
those sorts of issues. But because all of that, and because they've been then often many homeschooling or suddenly thinking, you know what, that's right, maybe I should actually, I'm already uncomfortable. Maybe should I go back into my employed job, or is this my time? And women globally are actually going, oh my gosh, this is so my time.
it
And I
is.
am seeing women from young women going, oh yeah, like I'm going to be an entrepreneur, solopreneur and an entrepreneur.
Yes,
And then I've also got women in their 50s and 60s going, you
yes,
know what? I bring a lot of value to the table and I'm
they
going to
do.
make it happen. And they'll go, straight up front, I don't have skills in the tech. I've got no idea how to build a website, this and that, whatever. And
But
all of those things
that's
start.
why you created those courses, Annie,
Exactly. And
to
then I go
make
and
it
say, oh
easy.
my gosh, I can show you what to do. And if you can't, I can easily show you the best ways, the cheapest ways to get those done so that you get it. It actually doesn't have to be stressful, right? We want to
Definitely.
focus. The goal of domination, which is where you want to end up, is actually be spending most of your time in your niche area of love and expertise and passion. Right.
Correct.
So those areas when you're starting up, they can be overwhelming, but we basically work out what are all the requirements. And I have the big checklist, and then
Yeah.
you put a little love factor out of it. And then you work out, well, what do you have to do because of the money? What could you outsource for
Yes.
someone? And what is reasonable? Sometimes you don't even know how much does it cost. So you don't know when someone's ripping you off. And
Yes.
so I'll have all of my little partners who go, I know this person is dependable, or, the person who did my website, welcome to go and use them, or whatever it is.
It's those
And
connections and knowledge that are
connection.
invaluable, because I'm telling you, there's so much capacity to be taken taken advantage of. And if
Mhm.
you are talking to people who've done business for a long time, they'll be able to say, okay, you don't need this big whiz bang website. You just need this. Like, I know business women who've launched with just a landing page without a
Yeah,
full website.
and
It's
that's okay.
fine. It's
That's okay.
okay.
The other thing is it's a transition, right? And that's another thing. You
Definitely.
could have a very basic website because you're just getting started and you don't have that spend. So it's when to spend. The
Yes.
reality is, you might be spending a lot on your marketing budget, reinvesting back into your business and other things in the scale up to dominate,
Yeah.
because you actually do have that consistent revenue coming in. So you've got confidence in that. So
Definitely.
more does usually, if you do it well, result in more.
Yeah.
But you don't have to do that at the beginning. So that's right. You might, to get to the scale up space, actually have to therefore then be a time to get a new website
Yeah.
with a great, Shopify on it, or a great little platform for your purchases to make it easier for customers. But to launch, you don't.
You don't.
So that's where I think that people go, it's going to cost so much. It actually doesn't. There's
It
a few
doesn't.
essentials that you do have to do, and the rest of it you can do on the smell of an oily rag.
And I was just going to say, Annie, there's also that capacity to teach yourself a new skill. So when I first started out, I taught myself how to build a WordPress website. Now,
Yep.
it wasn't great, but it was okay. And okay is good enough to start
It
with.
really is. It really is. And we'll always have a little giggle when we look back and
Oh,
go,
yeah.
I remember I thought my first website was just absolutely fabulous. And now I'm
Yeah.
looking going, oh my gosh. But that's okay. Did the world fall down? No.
No, it
Did I
doesn't.
still go on my journey? No. I think we really worry too much.
We do.
Everyone else isn't waking up ready to critique the way you
Your
look,
website.
color of your top, whether you smiled the right way or not. All these things that just
Yeah.
can overwhelm us or be a block.
Yeah.
You know what? It's actually saying it's good enough, and we can
Yeah.
always be evolving. So I'm
Yeah.
opposite. I don't say you have something and then you just sit on it forever. I'm assuming that you've then got, I love the websites like I have, and that
They're
you can go
beautiful.
in and make those little changes, right? So you are, even as the owner of that business, or one of your staff, you don't want to be held ransom to someone so that
No.
you can't, I'm sick of that dress, I want to put something else, or I want to
Yes.
put a new video up there. You don't want to, you want to make sure that your future spends are also a good decisions and you have control over your business. So
Definitely.
it is a fantastic time for women in business, I must.
Absolutely. So, Annie, I want to remind the listeners today that the womensbizincubator.com, we have a 10% discount code available, and it's Tony TV10, TONI TV10 on the Women's Biz Incubator for across all of Annie's courses. We have that available at the moment. So please jump on. If you're listening anywhere in the world, please connect with Annie. Please jump on the Women's Biz Incubator and grab one of those courses and get onto the Women's Biz Tribe. Connect with Annie and talk about your ideas of where you want to start. And Annie will be able to guide you. She'll know where you need to go, what you need to do, and help you in that journey. You can't underestimate the amount of support, the value of support to women from other women. We are your best champions. So I encourage you, if now is the time, then jump on and grab one of those courses. Now, before we run out of time, I actually really want to talk to Annie. We've just heard earlier in the show that she's got another book coming out in October, but before that one comes out, let's talk about twins.
I do. I have a very exciting book called Twins, Double Trouble, Double Treat, coming out on the 15th of July, and it's open for pre-orders now. Go to kmdbooks.com/twins and you'll be able to order your copy now, and on the 15th of July it will get sent to you. It is pretty much my experience of having two sets of twins. So as I shared before,
whilst studying and whilst starting on that journey and wanting to be an entrepreneur. So if you want something to inspire you, grab a copy.
Grab a copy as a mum.
Open your mind.
If you've got twins, if you know someone who's had twins, or anyone with multiples or even singles. It actually is just there's
It's a
so many
mum.
tips on it, on just that. It goes from us being childhood sweethearts riding our bike,
Ah.
life's so easy down the beach, and then suddenly finding out you've got twins, and then 14 months later, oh my gosh, you've got twins again. And
How did I do that?
the world goes, and then every second person going, you should have watched more television. And and you just kind of go, oh yeah, thanks for that. And then the overwhelming, oh
Oh,
my gosh, are we going
yeah.
to be poor forever, but we're going to be so rich with all these babies? But you're really young, you suddenly, while you've been acting all mature, suddenly you go, oh my gosh, we're too
This
young.
is really hard.
And then being able to just really lean into positive parenting and actually how we defined what was important for us, and lots of funny anecdotes along the way. But that one has been 25 years in the making, because I always wanted a book that there weren't any real life stories on twins. It was always written
Yeah.
by an
Yes.
obstetrician or someone,
Yes.
and I'm like, I just don't know. I wanted something that was actually like from mum to mum, which is very much my style. It's my
Definitely.
style. It's my
Yes.
style to those I coach. I just go, you know what, sweetheart, if you've just been found out you've got twins, or you've got them, and you want someone who connects with you, you will instantly do that. And those women, I'm sure, will just join my tribe, because that's it. We'll have self-love months, self-care months,
Yes.
all those things. It's not all business in the Biz
That's
Incubator
right.
or tribe. And so we, it's just actually having someone who has done that journey, and we'll all do it our own way.
Yeah.
And there'll be different stories and different things, but I can only share my journey. But it has been a joy to write it, and I'm super excited that it's coming out very
Oh, it's getting very close, very close. And that's the other thing to remind women listening today, that for women, women's business is life. It's motherhood. Don't let business think that the business tribe is not about life and motherhood and
oh,
learning and all the rest of it, because for women, they're linked. They're joined
you're
together.
running your own business at your home, right?
Yes.
You are multitasking, time management, disciplining,
Correct.
negotiating. You're
All
doing
of those
all
things.
these aspects plus everything else. Oh my gosh, what I've learned, managing my household in
Yeah.
those times. I used to giggle when I go to an interview and they'd ask, how do I manage time and whatever? I'm like, what? Like, are you
I've got
serious?
twins and
Come to my house. I've got 4 kids under 2.5. You think I can't manage time? I'm like army trained, right?
yeah.
So it was really funny that I often actually underestimated my skills. It wasn't actually until I then did become a leader, a businesswoman, that I actually thought, oh my gosh, I have got so many generic skills. First of all, from nursing,
Oh
actually.
yeah.
Nurses, amazing framework.
Yeah.
Any woman in business, seriously, you could become a fantastic businesswoman, or nurses, because of the way you think and manage things.
And the way you have to learn to
The way you
manage
learn, you
patients and doctors
prioritize,
and
you deal with very difficult, challenging situations,
documentation, all the rest
all
of
of
it.
that.
Mm-hmm.
So fantastic frameworks, but not just nursing. Think of, some of those listening in might be thinking, oh, well, I haven't done anything in that area. You don't have to.
No.
You can start your own business suddenly from that day. Well, you suddenly become a businesswoman.
Correct.
And then you then link up with other people. You learn
They
a
will
lot.
help you.
They'll help. And you will be surprised at how many tools you actually do have in your little
Yes.
container.
Yes.
So people who go, I don't know anything. Oh, actually, they do know more than you think. What you haven't done is you haven't framed it, you haven't packaged it, you haven't known when to pull it out and apply it, or to just adjust it for a different context. There are so many valuable tools that women actually just develop from doing life that makes them fantastic business women.
It does. It does. Annie, we are out of time again. I have loved doing these shows with you. I've loved talking about the Women's Biz Incubator. I've loved talking about how you created and why you created the Women's Business Tribe. I know that I will be talking to you again soon. There will be more shows with Annie and I coming up across months, and we want to talk about your books in particular. But for women who are just thinking and listening at the moment, please connect with Annie Gibbins. If you want a beautiful human being to nurture you on life and business, then Annie is that person. Seriously, she will love you and get you inspired and empowered and working on your journey, be that the journey of life or the journey of business. This woman is a powerhouse of inspiration, and she wants to empower women globally to live from a place of satisfaction, and she has the knowledge to do that. Annie Gibbins, thank you so much. This is Secret Women's Business. I'm your co-host, Tony Lontis, and that's the show for this week. Bye for now.